Hello and welcome to Chess Please. My name is Andy and today we're going to be talking about tempo. So in chess there are two measures of time. The first one being the tick of the clock, the standard time that you are familiar with how it works on account of you being a human.
I need you to give my time back to me. Can you give me back my time?
The second one is called tempo, and it refers to the time it takes for pieces to move around the board, and there are ways that you can use that to help you win your games. Today I'm going to be giving a pretty introductory or beginner level depiction of what tempo is and how you can use that to play some better chess. Let's have a go. Clap. Okay, so I have a couple of scenarios drawn up on some boards here, just mainly to showcase what tempo actually means, and it's a really handy concept I find, rather than what you'll learn here today specifically. Just a way to think about like each move you make costs one tempo, one unit of time moving about the board. So let's say, for example, in this particular case, white plays e4, very common opening. Now I might have taken 20 minutes to make that move on the human game clock. I probably shouldn't have, but sometimes you get in your head.
I'm 10 steps ahead of you and you haven't even figured out what game we're playing yet.
So no matter how long I took physically to make that move cost me one tempo, one go essentially. Black responds with their next tempo. Nope, this is not the one I want to show you, but that's okay. So we go e4, they go d5, they use their tempo, we use another one to take back, and then importantly they take with their queen. And this brings me on to the second sort of layer of tempo, where it more so refers to not only the time it takes for you to make those moves, but also the initiative or the productivity that comes with those moves. So here you see white's queen out in the black's queen, out in the middle of the board, pretty vulnerable, and we can use this to gain back the initiative by using a tempo and forcing my opponent to use a tempo poorly or unproductively. And that move in this particular case is knight to b3. So I develop my piece, I use a tempo very productively, and on top of that I'm attacking the queen. And they definitely want to move their queen because they don't want to lose their queen early on. So they're going to have to use their next go, or tempo, to move that queen out of the way, which puts the ball back in our court to get on with our lives, develop our pieces. And even if they decide to kind of steal back that tempo with something like this, say a check on our king, and again we have to respond now, the tempo is a reactive one, it's not that productive, but again you can think of ways to make it productive. So one very simple way, you can offer a queen trade here. If they take it, you can take with the bishop and then you'll have another piece developed and you've gained some tempo there. So let's just play that out. Queen takes, bishop takes, and now at the end of that black has absolutely no development gone. Its d-file is just decimated. Material is even, but our material, we've got two pieces in the game, they've got nada. So we're doing all right there. So that's kind of how tempo works. It's basically time that it takes to take your go, and you want to use every single tempo, every single go in a productive fashion. The second example I'll show you in a slightly later game example, and again this is a kind of a goofy game I just drew up on the analyzer board, but one that I found pretty useful was, if you ever find yourself an example like this, where you are playing as black, and let's say for example, let's even just try to flip the board there. So we're playing as black now, and what we found is we found ourselves completely forked. We are forked by this pawn. There's a double attack on the knight and on the bishop, and here again we can kind of use this to conceptualize tempo. We are being attacked twice, but we only have one tempo to react to it, or so it may appear. So very often, or in kind of my earlier days of chess, I would often have just maybe like taken here with the bishop and then get taken by the knight, and you know, just said whatever, they got me. But there are ways out of this as well, and one way to do that is to steal back the tempo, or the initiative. And in this particular case, we have a good move that can do that, and it's bishop to b4 over here, which again comes with check. Check being the kind of ultimate in terms of like tempo threats, second only to checkmate. That picked the bones out of that one. But if you have check, by the rules of the game, your opponent has to spend their next go responding to that check. So while it looks like this knight is still under attack, there are bigger fish to fry for white over here. They can again try to take back the tempo. They'll attack your bishop back, and again you have 2 pieces under attack and 1 move to respond to that. But again, going right back to that point of check being probably the ultimate tempo buyer. We just trade off here. We trade bishops with tempo because this is check again. Queen takes, and after all of this shakes down, we have 1 piece under attack, and it is our go to respond to that, and we can do something like this. So instead of being completely forked, we've actually gotten out of it by using time, by making bigger and scarier threats to our opponent that becomes their top priority. So the thing that was being threatened for us, or our pieces that were being threatened, take a back seat for a couple of goes or a couple of tempos, and when it all shakes down, because we have bought some of that time, we can get our pieces to safety. So it's a quick overview of what tempo is and a couple of ways of how to use it and how to think about it. As an overarching kind of guiding principle, what I would recommend is thinking about tempo, particularly in the opening. Actually, it's important all throughout the game, but in the opening, it's kind of a race to deploy your forces, to get your army out in the front lines. And if you're wasting moves that don't do that, then you're going to be losing that race. And similarly, if you can, like we saw earlier with kicking the queen out, if you can take some time off your opponent and make them spend time doing retreating stuff or doing defensive stuff, you will get the edge in that race and be better prepared to launch an attack. So that is it on terms of that kind of intro to tempo. It's a concept that will endure and is kind of talked about at the highest levels in terms of how to use it and everything like that, but definitely one to be aware of as you're getting stronger in the game. Thanks for watching. This is Chess Please. My name is Andy, and we'll be doing a couple more videos like this, as well as some general kind of puzzle playthroughs and games. If you think that sounds like your cup of tea, feel free to stick around and smash that subscribe button wherever it may be on your screen. Thanks for watching, and take care.